Hello everyone, this is Critic giving you a shoutcast between Adelscott versus ThorZain here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. This is game 1 in a series. Won't tell you how many games there are in this series, but yeah, this is game 1 in a series. Adelscott spawning as the orange Protoss player over here on the south side of Xel'Naga Caverns. Meanwhile, we have ThorZain spawning on the north side of the map as the red Terran player. I believe his name is actually ThorZain. I have seen the ThorZain name in the past, but that may be the team name, and I may be getting these names confused. My bad if I am. So, taking the game, and just taking a look at the game now, we have ThorZain just training up SCVs, a pylon currently coming out, not doing any early scouting from Adelscott. So, pretty standard play. I'm expecting standard plays so far in this matchup. No proxy pylons, no proxy 10 gates coming into play. And down over here, as ThorZain just continues to mine more minerals and get this game underway. We should be seeing, a Chrono Boost now coming to play on this Nexus here, allowing most likely for a 13 gateway, and then probably having that one probe move out and about in order to do some scouting in just a second. Or is it going to be, it's going to be a 12 gateway, and then delaying his economy just a little bit. May get off another Chrono Boost in a second. There we go. And then he should be scouting out. I'm a little curious as to why Adelscott isn't actually scouting. Meanwhile, ThorZain is getting one barracks now. That barracks pretty much being built at a standard time. If a probe does move out to scout, I believe that the probe moving out to scout will get shot down by a Marine by now, as it makes its way across the map. So I don't think Adel will be doing any scouting at all. He is going to be playing blind. And this is going to be pretty interesting. So we'll see what happens in this particular matchup. I'm not 100% sure where this tournament is from. Apparently, this is the finals as Adelscott. ThorZain beat Cloud, and Adelscott's just trying to figure out and trying to gauge how good his opponent really is. I'm currently getting the Cybernetics core, and now we see the SCV doing some scouting, quickly going to see pretty much what he expects to see. A gateway, a Cybernetics core warping in. There is one assimilator. The second assimilator has yet to be placed down yet. So essentially what that's going to mean is either he's going for an expansion sometime soon, because this is a one gate build with the Cybernetics core, so we may have an expansion coming in. And now the SCV hiding down over here and grabbing some minerals of his own, and now this probe making its way out, trying to make sure that there are no proxy barracks over here, as proxy raxes are a little bit of trouble sometimes if you're not prepared for it. ThorZain opting to go for an early bunker now in order to be able to stop any of those stalkers that try to make it in. And now in comes a Zealot, so that Zealot is going to try to shoot down or take down this SCV. There is a stalker already being trained, and I believe, the Zealot, very, very nicely done there. The Zealot actually getting 2 hits on an SCV, very well microed by Adel. Back over here, a probe is going to be trying to make it up this ramp. I believe that probe is just going to simply get shot down, as the timing is going to be perfect for that Marines to jump inside that bunker. So the instant that probe was within combat range of those Marines, the Marines went inside, giving an additional +1 range, and that really helped out there. Tech Lab now being built. We should be getting perhaps siege tanks trained up. Siege tanks are a good, strong counter towards those stalkers, which may be trying to walk up that ramp in just a second. There's going to be a stalker and a zealot, and that they may try to do a run by, but both will take a fair amount of damage there. Just going to come in here and getting some damage, and nicely done. That stalker just taking a lot of absorbing a lot of that damage there, and now in moves that zealot. The zealot now trying to go after some SCVs, but nice mineral pathing there, and down goes the zealot. So very, very well played by ThorZain. ThorZain doing a good job, and another stalker trying to walk up that ramp, taking some critical damage, no critical damage, just taking a lot of shield damage. And now with the siege tank there to offer some additional damage, no stalkers will be able to walk up at all. So you can see a Nexus has been placed down by Adel opting to go for a 1 gate, and then now going into 3 additional gateways as well. So it is going to be a 4 gate after the Nexus was placed down. So that means there are going to be a lot of gateway units. And now with ThorZain going into the 1-1-1 build, 1 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport, we may be getting Banshees. The Banshees with Cloak may work out fairly well, as there are no observers and no robotics bay yet. Yeah, no observer and no robotics bay yet. But there is going to be a very large army indeed. The SCV was quickly sniped down by one of these stalkers here, this stalker with that 1 kill. So this is going to be difficult for ThorZain to try to push out. One Hellion now trying to move out will be able to escape and squeak by, perhaps do that scouting that it really wants to do. And he's going to sacrifice this one Hellion, the Hellion only costing 100 minerals compared to the scanner sweep, which brings in about 300 minerals. In comes that Hellion, the Hellion trying to get some damage in. The Hellion was, I believe, able to spot the expansion but not see how fully saturated it was. I believe he was also able to see this one assimilator here, and now they are currently trying to figure out why there is currently lag in play. Anyways, Adelscott continuing to warp in more units. He still does not have a robotics bay, and now we are going into Thor Raven. That is a particularly interesting build, as it is very gas heavy, and ThorZain now still running off of one base, trying to transfer some SCVs over. He should be able to. This is decent saturation over here. We are going to see some SCVs now make their way out. There is one also Raven in the air. The Raven didn't drop any point defense drones, as there was not enough energy, and took some damage, but really those Marines did deal a lot of damage as well. So a couple Marines, one siege tank on the low ground, not in siege mode. Siege tech not even being researched at this time, as a Thor now makes its way out. And this is going to be a problem here. A group of stalkers now trying to move in. There are Marines now trying to engage back and forth. There is a Thor that needs to come online. The one bunker should be completed just in time. No point defense drone yet at all, as those siege tanks now continue to battle back and forth. That siege tank is getting focused down, now trying to run away. That Thor, however, dealing a lot of damage. And now we see a group of stalkers. Yeah, so Adelscott going for mass stalkers and dealing a lot of damage with those stalkers, trying to use that range advantage. One Thor is operational. More units still being warped in. Down over here, no proxy pylon, so those units do have to trek it all the way across the map. This is a this is only a 5 gate. I thought it was going to be a 6 gate off of 2 bases, but only a 5 gate. We now see that there is one Raven in the air with 100 energy, so he will be able to drop 1 point defense drone, intercepting at least 280 points of damage, perhaps even more, unless those stalkers do try to focus fire that 1 point defense drone down. So currently one Marine not in a bunker here. The Thor is there. The Thor is not being repaired. No SCVs nearby, but that Thor is fully on hit points. A second Thor now coming in to be coming in to join in on this fight as well. The bunker needs to be repaired though, so that one SCV is going to repair this bunker, and in comes the Thor. The Thor now trying to turn around. SCVs need to come off the mineral line. There's that point defense drone. Very nice. Thor is now coming. The point defense drone was shot down. SCVs coming off the mineral line in order to do more repairing, doing a good job fending off this attack there. So bunkers doing their own, trying to hold off against this very aggressive push. But a third base now being established by Adelscott a mere 10 minutes into this game. Adelscott with a very large army, and he has a stronger economy, and will have an even stronger economy once this Nexus is up and operational. Back over here, a Viking now trying to make its way out, but I believe the problem is that ThorZain is going very heavy into Thors, when his opponent merely has a lot of gateway units, and those gateway units are generally strong against Thors, because a Thor needs 3 full attacks in order to shoot down a stalker while not having as many hit points. We now see that the Viking is trying to come in, perhaps is going to land, get some damage on some of those probes. No, just doing some scouting, sees this over here. We now see gold mineral patch has been partially saturated, as Immortals now making their way over and across, and those Immortals are going to be able to rip through those Thors. That is going to be a definite problem for ThorZain. ThorZain has 3 Thors and a couple bunkers, and that is it. Viking now trying to do a little bit more scouting. The Viking gonna get shot down by those stalkers though, and now more units are still being warped out. Adelscott has a lot of energy on his nexuses in order to do more warp in, and now even more warp gates. Adelscott currently sitting on about 2,000 mineral per minute versus 1,700. And now also a lot of scanner sweeps being used in order to do some scouting. So ThorZain only has 1 mule currently in play. He had 2 just a second ago, so his economy will be slowing down as well. Production-wise, level 2 armor upgrades now coming in for those stores. So those stores are going to be trying to absorb more damage. They should be able to absorb a lot of damage from those stalkers and those zealots, which don't have any weapons upgrade just quite yet, reducing the damage from 14 down to 11 once that level 2 armor upgrades are completed. But those Immortals are going to be able to deal a lot of damage still. 50 damage per attack. 47 after you account for armor, and that is going to be pretty significant there. Another one Raven was already shot down. The Raven has been repaired, so I believe that Raven may have been the original Raven. Haven't been keeping track of and keeping tabs just quite yet. 2 base play coming in from ThorZain. A Zealot now trying to run head on into this group. Quickly gets taken down there, but that was just to test the waters. A lot of Zealots now have that Zealot charge upgrade. They will be able to just flood in, and Adelscott just simply waiting for the large enough army in order to press in on that attack. We now see the 250mm strike cannon and level 2 armor upgrades on the Thor. The Thor has been completed. The pylon has not been taken down. Hellions now coming over to deal some damage. Now need to turn back around. SCVs coming off the mineral line in order to try to do repairing. There is a lot of damage being dealt back and forth. Stalkers now dealing damage back and forth, and now many of those Thors are just being repaired. SCVs also engaging on that fight as well. SCVs are auto-repairing the bunkers. There's nothing in the bunkers. Finally getting more units in there. ThorZain trying to fight back. The point defense drone doesn't have that much energy. Hellion running straight on in. The Vikings are joining in on that fight, but the sheer number of units that Adelscott has on the ground makes ThorZain GG. So Adelscott taking game 1 in this series with a very, very impressive macro play, getting setting up 3 bases, almost getting up a 4th base in order to just simply use mass gateway units. Perhaps the robotics facility did come a little bit late, and ThorZain with only 4 production buildings or 5 production buildings, a lot of factories, but he still wasn't able to really macro up effectively enough. Those Thors deal a lot of damage, but when trying to combat against those Zealots, even with that armor upgrade, those SCVs just wasn't able to repair enough, especially with Stalkers. With Immortals joining in on that army as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between ThorZain and Adelscott here in the Xel'Naga Watchtower, or here in the Xel'Naga Caverns.